Hey everyone, it's Casey, and today we are going to go through a stretch and mobilize yoga class. And we're going to focus on the hips and the hamstrings. It's been a theme I've been wanting to work on this whole week. And so just different approaches and ways to target the hips and hamstrings can diversify the practice so much. And so today we're going to focus on ways that we can release into postures, but also ways that we can activate within those postures to start building more strength and mobility and range of motion. So I would recommend having 2 blocks and a strap today. That's really it. Other than that, let us start off on our backs. As you come down onto your back, all right, let's go ahead and start off with a supported bridge pose. This is going to help loosen up the lower back, loosen up through the hips, and we'll also use it to go deeper into the hips as well. So grab your block and we'll keep it on one of the lower 2 settings. So either keep it really flat, what I like to call its belly, or keep it on its side, or a little bit of a toaster setting, okay? Lift the hips off the ground, take your block at one of those lower 2 heights, and just place it underneath your sacrum so you have a nice, firm, solid base to kind of rest onto. And then you can separate your feet until they're right underneath your knees. And you feel this foundation where your knees don't feel like they're just going to flop out to the sides. You feel like all you got to do is reposition your feet, and it will help to stabilize the legs. Okay, so once you find those angles, go ahead and just close your eyes, start to work out the last little fidgets in your body. Arms can rest wherever they're comfortable here. And we'll just start to drop in a little bit with some 3-part breathing. And as we do a 3-part breath, we're going to focus on the breath moving separately into each section of the torso, the lower part of the torso, belly and lower back, the lower rib cage, and then the upper back and chest area. Okay, so all 3 areas will be isolated with the breath, and then we'll join them all together. So let's exhale, let everything out. Through the nose, start to breathe in, fill up into your belly and your lower back and your lower sides. Keep the breath really low in the torso. Expand as much as you can here, stretching out through the diaphragm. And open up the mouth and let everything go. Now, as you breathe in, just breathe into your lower rib cage, your mid-back. Wrapping around the sides like an inner tube in the center of your torso. Holding it. Open up the mouth, let it out. This time, inhale, just breathe up into your chest, your shoulders, and your upper back. Open up the breath, open up the lungs, feel as much space as you can. Holding it. Open up the mouth and release it. Combining all 3 parts. Inhale through the nose, fill up belly, lower back. Fill up ribs and mid-back. Fill up chest, upper back, and shoulders. Your full torso opens all directions, and then just hold it here. Open up the mouth and let it out. Now we're going to do that one more time, but the breath is going to stay through the nose, both parts. Inhale slowly, fill up from the bottom to the top in all directions. Once you reach the top, keep the breath through the nose and try to breathe just as slowly on your exhale as you melt the breath back out from top down to bottom. And then relax your breath. Let it become a little more natural, easy. Just feeling connected to your breath. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and just sway your head a little bit from side to side. Just kind of loosen up the neck. Okay. Make sure that your block feels stable underneath you. So if you need to readjust it, please do. Knees lift up, lifting the feet off the ground. Okay, now from here, you're going to pull the right knee in towards your chest and try to kind of glue it as close to the chest as you can. Hold it there. As you extend your left leg forward, I want you to reach out through your left leg and your left toes actively. So you're trying to reach the left leg. Imagine you're trying to grow it like an inch longer. You're really trying to reach out through those toes, but you continue to pull your right knee to your chest. You're keeping it as glued in as possible. Now, with your left leg extending in front of you, keep reaching through the toes as you start to bend the knee softly until the foot touches all the way down to the ground. And imagine the foot's like an anchor. It's really heavy. And you feel this bowing across the front of the left hip all the way down to the foot. And then just relax your foot here. Continue to pull your right knee in, and your left foot can either stay on the ground or you might feel it float up naturally on its own and just take a little bit of that air time. To find the float, it's just finding that point where you're able to pull the knee in close enough to your chest that it lifts the weight off of your extended leg. Okay, it shouldn't feel like you're using effort to lift your leg off the ground. If it is, just let it release back down. The sensation, we can still find it with the foot down. Otherwise, just a few more breaths. And then I want you to try to imagine holding your legs as close to the shape as you can as you just release your arms and hold your legs in this shape. I want you to lift your left foot off the ground, extend out through the left toes, and just imagine as you extend your left leg forward and out that you're trying to pull your left thigh towards your chest. And hold here for 3, 2, 1. And then gently set both feet to the ground, walk the feet in. You should feel a lot more open now on the front of that left hip. Feel free to sway the knees a little side to side if that feels good for you. We'll just take a couple of little breaths in between before we go directly into the other side. Okay, knees back up, feet lift off the ground. This time, left knee, we're going to pull it to the chest and try to glue it in. Hold it there. Stretch your right leg long in front of you and begin to activate it as you reach out through your toes. Imagine trying to stretch the leg a whole inch longer. Can you reach longer through the foot? And then continue pulling your left knee closer and closer to the chest. Breathe here. One more breath in this nice active variation. And then as you keep reaching through your right toes, start to soften the knee until the foot touches down to the ground, feeling that bow over the front of the right hip, anchoring down into your right foot. And then relax your right leg completely. Pull your left knee to the chest. Maybe the foot stays on the ground. Maybe the foot hovers right off the floor. Feel it out for yourself here. Try to relax some tension from your shoulders and your face. Let's take at least 2 more slow breaths. Okay, so once again, we're going to try to mimic this exact shape, but without using the hands. So release the hands, try to hold your legs in this position. Try to lift your right foot off the ground, reaching out through the toes, and then visualize that you're trying to draw your left knee closer to the chest. Holding here for 3, 2, 1. Gently set both feet down to the ground. Walk the feet in, and feel free to sway the knees a little bit here. Just give yourself that couple breaths to ease back into your body. Okay, now when you're ready, lift the hips off the block. Remove the block out of your way and just let your spine melt back down to the ground. Now you can get those full windshield wipers through the knees. Really rock them here now that the spine is more neutral. When your back feels ready, hug the knees to the chest. And as you hug them in, you can continue to sway here. Okay. Let's drop the feet to the ground and let the soles of the feet come together and the knees open up nice and wide. And we're just going to allow ourselves to kind of melt into this shape. We're going to be here about 6 deep breaths. Okay, so if you don't feel a whole lot, it's okay. You can always slide the feet closer to the hips or scoot them farther away, but find your appropriate depth and just let gravity do its work. We don't always have to do all the effort and straining and creating tension. We can soften too. So we'll engage this position here soon enough. But for now, let's just let ourselves kind of melt open. Let's take one more breath here. Okay, now from here, if you need to adjust the feet more forward or closer in, you can. I want you to imagine trying to hover your feet right above the ground. Just hover them, but your legs stay in this butterfly shape, still nice and open. Holding here, you're going to feel a little bit into your hips, of course, but we're also going to feel a little into our core. One more breath. And then slowly set the feet back down. Keep the left leg where it is as you lift the right knee and draw the right knee in towards your chest. So as you pull the right knee in, I want you to just kind of feel the knee going kind of side to side. You're kind of opening it a little to the right and then pulling it back in towards midline. Out towards the right and then back in towards the chest. And just do that a few times. Notice how much movement is available to you. And then you can either continue doing that, or you can just pull the knee to the chest. Maybe open the knee towards the armpit if that space allows. Or half happy baby variation, right arm through the inside of the right leg, hand attaches to the foot or anywhere along the leg, and just trying to angle the sole of the foot towards the ceiling. Nice deep breath here. Now, it doesn't matter what variation you're in. If you're in half happy baby, great. If you're in knee to armpit or knee to chest, great, okay? All we're going to do is create some resistance tension. So you're going to feel that your leg or your foot is trying to kick up towards the ceiling, but your hand is pulling it down towards the floor or in towards your chest, okay? So wherever you are, imagine you're actively trying to kind of kick the foot up, but your hand is pulling it in. And hold here. You're going to feel a lot more active in your hips. If you're in happy baby, it's going to feel a little more intense, okay? But hold here for 3, 2, 1. And then go ahead and bend the knee, release the foot, and let it set back down into that half butterfly shape. And we'll go right into the other side. Left knee lifts up, and then start to pull it into your chest. Use your hands to draw it in. And as you do, just kind of open it out to the left, and then back in towards the center, and just continue with that little bit of movement here for a few breaths. Okay. Next time the knee comes to your chest, let's hold it here. You can continue pulling it in. You can draw it towards your left armpit, or half happy baby. Left hand through the inside of the leg, hold the foot, and find your angles here. First, just feel it out. Give yourself a couple breaths, and then we'll create the tension. Okay. So wherever you are, holding onto the foot or holding onto the shin or knee or thigh, I want you to pull it in. Imagine pulling it towards the earth and holding it there. And then try to resist by kicking your foot back towards the ceiling. The leg's trying to kick up, but the hand is holding it in place. And just hold here, feel that strength. 3, 2, 1. And then relax, bend the knee, release the foot to the ground. And this time, let's lift both of the knees back to center, separate the feet a little bit, and then just shake out your legs. You can windshield wiper, you can stretch them out nice and long and shake them out. Up to you. What feels good for you? Okay, so now we're going to work a little bit into our hamstrings and inner hips and groins. So reach over for your strap. Even if you don't, quote, need your strap, it still feels really nice to use it. So why not? Okay, bend both of your knees and walk the feet in. So we're going to do hand to big toe pose with the strap. But we're not just going to focus on stretching and opening. We will still get that, but we're also going to focus on building some strength within our range of motion. Okay, so lift the right foot and take the strap around the ball of your right foot. And then begin to extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. Even if the leg doesn't fully straighten, just work as much extension as you can and pulling the leg closer towards your upper body. Okay. Left knee can stay bent perfectly fine, or you can stretch it long out on the ground. It's up to you what feels better for your body. Okay. Now, first, we're just going to feel the flexibility. So let's just kind of pull the leg in a little bit here. Okay. And then just notice where that edge point is. Take a couple deep breaths from this edge. All right, so now as we hold this shape, you're going to hold it with your arms. So you're not going to let your leg move. But if you're already to the point where your body is shaking and you're like maxed out, I don't want you to activate from your full max. So think about 20% of your maximum, okay? Once you find that 20%, you're holding the leg in place with your hands. And I want you to imagine that you're trying to kick your foot forward towards the front, but your hands are holding it in place and not allowing that to happen. You feel your legs start to activate, your hands are holding it, which means now all the muscles are turning on here. Activate, breathe, and hold for 3, 2, 1. Relax and see if you can draw it in a little bit more. Okay, now you're going to keep the leg above you, but just release your hands from the strap. The strap's just hanging out on the foot. And now reach up through the heel as best as you can and actively, without using your hands, just imagine trying to pull the leg closer towards your torso. And now we're using just the hip flexors and quads and the core to help draw it in. And then go ahead and reattach your hands to the strap ends. You can relax that top leg from having to use so much effort. And now let's take both ends of the strap into your right hand, okay? I like to hold higher up on the strap, but keep the right shoulder blade down, okay? Now open the leg out to the right side while also pulling it in close towards you. And you're just going to open it up as much as it feels good. Wherever that stopping point is, you stop. Left hip stays down on the ground. Okay, so with the leg out to the side, right now, we're just feeling the flexibility. So try to relax as best as you're able and just kind of settle into the inner hip and groin here, creating a little bit of softening through those hips. Okay, so as we activate, remember, I don't want you to be 100% maxed out. So if you're in your full edge already, I want you to back off just a little bit. Okay, so right now your hand is kind of pulling, it's kind of in between your body and your foot. I want you to reposition so your hand is a little bit more towards the ground, okay? So that means your hand is going to kind of switch to go underneath the foot rather than in between you and your foot. So just let it kind of roll down. And imagine your hand is now an anchor. Imagine your hand is anchoring towards the floor. But now we're going to create resistance and try to kick the foot back up to center. Okay, if it's too much, let the strap slide through the hand a little bit. Create more space. Legs trying to kick back up to center, but the hand is resisting. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Relax, let it open. Okay, now release the strap. Let it stay attached to your foot, but just release it. And now you're holding that leg in that shape by yourself. Continue reaching out through the heel, opening up the hip and trying to lower it closer to the ground while keeping your left hip down. And hold here for 3. Keep breathing. 2, 1. Reach over with your hand again. Grab both ends of the strap, and now you're going to use your hand to help press and lift the leg back up to center. Okay? Oof, we're not quite done yet. Okay? So we're going to get a little bit deeper into the outer part of that right leg. So with the leg right above you, extend out through the heel a little bit more and pull the leg in a little closer, because now our edge might be a little bit different after we've established more opening in the body. So with the leg right above you, let's take the leg and just kick it over maybe an inch or 2 to the left side. Not too much, just a little bit. As the leg kind of kicks over to the left a little bit, you're going to feel the entire side of your leg start to light up. And I want you to just breathe here and feel it. This one can be pretty intense. Okay, so once again, notice how your hands are holding onto the strap. It's between your foot and your body. I want you to take the strap into your left hand and kind of take the strap as though you're holding it from the left side. Okay, so my hand kind of switches over to the left side. Now imagine my hand is creating the anchor. And as I create the anchor, it stays here. And then my foot, the pinky edge of my foot, is trying to kick back to the right side, back up to center. But my hand is holding it in place and saying, nah, not today. You're staying right here. And my foot's going, no, I want to kick back up. And then your leg begins to light up. You feel all the muscles activate, and we hold for 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and relax it. And now release your hand from the strap and hold it on its own. Reach out through the heel. Feel the leg draw closer towards your torso and maybe just kick it a little more to the side. Very, very subtle movement. If you kick a whole bunch to the side, you're probably going to miss it. One more breath. Hand comes back up to the strap ends. Help to lift the leg back to center. And then bend the knee, release the strap away from the foot, and then just stretch the leg out nice and long. Feel free to spend a few breaths observing the differences in your sides, the sensations that you feel, but also that drastic difference in space that we feel. Okay. When you're ready, we'll go through that same sequence on the left side so we can be balanced. Imagine class was done right now and you walk around feeling like we have, a foot taller on one side. Balance is key. So let's bend the knees, walk the feet in towards the hips. Let's lift the left foot, strap around the ball of the left foot, and then slowly stretch the left leg up towards the ceiling. Knee can stay bent, but straighten it as much as possible. Pulling the leg in, and then your right knee can stay bent or stretch it out nice and long in front of you. Wherever you are, work on extending through your leg and pulling the leg in as much as you're able until you feel more of that flexibility edge. Eyes drop back into the sockets, relax your jaw, slow your breath down. Let's take just a few more here. Last deep breath. Okay, if you're in that 100% edge, back off a little bit, save some room for activation. Now, as you find that nice, comfortable edge, you're going to hold it. Use your hands as an anchor. They're not letting your leg or foot move. And then activate your left leg and try to kick it forward in front of you. Hands are holding it in place. Leg is kicking forward. Hands are not letting it move. Holding, nice and active for 3, 2, 1. And then relax some of the tension and pull the leg in a little bit closer. Feels so nice. Okay. Now we're going to keep the leg here and just release your hands from the strap. Reach out through the heel. Try to straighten the leg as much as you're able. And then without the hands, use your leg to pull closer towards your torso. And hold here. Nice strong hip flexors, quads. 3, 2, 1. Now reach up with your hands, grab the ends of your strap, hold onto it with your left hand. Right arm can hold the right hip down, or it can just fall out to the side, whatever's most comfortable. And then slowly begin to open your left leg out to the left side, feeling into the flexibility of that left hip and inner groin. So just feel it out here. Let's take a few breaths and just try to soften as much as you possibly can. Feel more of that passive flexibility. There still might be some activation here, but we're trying to soften as much as possible. Okay. Now from here, once again, if you're in your 100% edge, come out of it a little bit. Your hand, instead of being between your foot and your body, you're going to rotate it down. So the hand is trying to anchor your foot towards the floor. Okay. So the hand is below the foot like an anchor. You can even let it slide down and actually become an anchor. Okay. Hold that anchor point down and then start to activate your left leg as though you're trying to kick your left leg back up to center, but you're resisting and holding it in place. Keep kicking, hold for 3, 2, 1, and then relax it open. Feel it sink in, maybe even a little deeper. Now, release the strap end and just hold it here, using the strength of your hips to support this position. Reach out through the heel, open up the hip, and just feel the leg dropping closer to the ground while keeping your right hip anchored down. 2 more breaths. Hand reaches over for the strap ends. Use your hand to help lift the leg back up to center. And then once the leg is all the way back up to center, you're going to hold it with your right hand. Left arm can just kind of fall to the side. First, we're going to establish a new edge by reaching up through the heel, extending the leg as much as possible, and pulling the leg towards the torso. So find your new edge point. And once you do, keep it. Take the leg a couple inches over to the right side. Whew, this side is tight today. So the more tension you feel in your body, don't let your face start tensing up or your breath start tensing up. Try to soften what you can. 2 more breaths. Okay, now as you hold on to the strap, I want you to imagine that your hand kind of pulls over to the right side of the strap, okay? If you're in 100% max edge, come out just a little bit. Hold on to that anchor point with your right hand and feel the pinky edge side of the foot trying to kick to the left side. Now you're starting to activate all the muscles on the outside of that leg, holding for 3, 2, 1, and then relax the leg. Now keep it tilted over to the side, but just release a hold of the strap. Kick up through the heel, pull the leg closer towards your torso without your hands, and then just feel it a little over to that right side. You should feel a lot. Holding it here as you breathe for 3, 2, 1. Hold on to the end of the strap. Lift the leg to center. Bend the knee. Release the strap off of your foot as you stretch both legs long. You can set your strap out of your way for now. And then just let your legs just kind of melt open in front of you. Shake it out. Move them however you need to here to get some relief and some re-neutralizing. Couple more breaths. Okay. We're staying on our backs. Let's go ahead and bend the knees, walk the feet in. Okay, so let's cross your right ankle over the top of your left thigh, okay? And let's just kind of use the right hand to kind of press the right thigh forward and let it swing back in a few times. Just get a feel for this here. And as you press it forward, you're feeling that nice external rotation. And then go ahead and let it swing back in. Keep the ankle stacked on top of the opposite thigh. And as the knee kind of comes towards the chest, use your left hand to the outer knee to just kind of pull it a little bit more towards the left side. But you're not twisting, you're not rolling onto your left hip, you're keeping the hips nice and neutral, but you're just feeling a little bit of that moving across the body, which is going to open up a little more in the outside of the hip. Let's do that one more time. Open up the knee, use your right hand to press the thigh forward, adding a nice external rotation. And then as you release, knee swings in, left hand comes over the knee, and imagine just kind of pulling it a little bit over to the left. And then open it back out. You can stay here, or without using your hands, just use your hands, rest them down to your sides. You're just going to use your legs. Lift your left foot off the ground. Maybe it only hovers off the floor. That's okay. But I want you to try to pull the legs as close to the chest as you're able to without using your hands. You're using the strength of your hip flexors and feeling into the flexibility of your outer hips and glutes to go deeper into this position. So observe any kind of points of tension, observe that range of motion, where the body naturally stops on its own, where you feel space. Let's take another breath here, nice strong hips. And then just take your hands, weave them through and either catch the left thigh or around the front of the left shin as you now use the hands to help leverage and pull yourself deeper into this pose. If it's too much to use your hands to pull in, you can let your left foot set down onto a block or two, or just rest it down onto the floor and press the right thigh open. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, you're hugging in. Try to keep the backs of the hips nice and firmly rooted down onto the ground. And then you can keep yourself exactly as you are. I like to shift the legs a couple inches to the left side. As the legs shift a little over to the side, you're going to increase the weight that just is kind of sinking onto that outer hip and glute as you feel kind of the right hip curl away from the ground just a little bit. Take it only as deep as it feels good for you. Try to soften some of that excess tension from your shoulders. And let's take about 6 or so more slow breaths. Couple more breaths here. If the legs did shift a little to the left, just bring them back to center. Okay, now stay with me here. If you're 100% maxed out, we're going to do the same thing. Just back off just a little bit. You don't have to pull in so tight if you're already at your fullest edge. I want you to have a little bit of space to engage here. So as you hold on to your left leg, however you want to hold on to it, you're not going to let your legs move. But with this top leg, okay, we're going to try to kick that top foot forward in front of us as though the shin is trying to press forward, but the hands are holding it in place. So hold on with your hands and then start to kick your right shin forward towards the front of the room. Keep kicking it forward, resisting, feel that tension and that kind of activation light up into the outside of your right hip. Holding here for 3, 2, 1, and relax. See if you can pull in a little bit closer. Okay, nice. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to release the hands. Okay, and now we're going to try to keep the right leg as close to the shape as we can. So we want to continue to feel the right heel pulling towards the chest. And I want you to just slowly start to lower your left foot towards the ground until you create a gap of space between your right foot and your thigh. If it comes all the way down, walk your left foot forward on the mat until you create the gap of space, okay? Feel the heel try to pull towards you as the thigh opens away from you, creating that external rotation and strengthening it here. Feeling our range of motion for 3, 2, 1. Swivel the leg to center and just set the foot down. Feel free to shake out your legs however you'd like to here, about 5 breaths. Once again, you're observing the differences between the sides. Any sensations that you start to kind of bubble up to the surface, take note of them all. How do they feel? What's the intensity level? Where do we feel it? How can we soften? All righty. All that work just for one side, feeling so many different ways that we can activate or stimulate into those positions. So let's bend the knees, walk the feet in, and we're going to get the other side now. So let's cross the left ankle over the right thigh, and we'll start off nice and easy by just pressing the left thigh forward with the left hand, feeling as though we're helping ourselves get into that external rotation in the hip. And then as you release that, feel the knee swing to center. Use your right hand to the outer knee to kind of pull it over towards the right. Feel that here. Once again, the hips stay on the ground. We're not curling or twisting. And then as you release the knee, let it open back up. Left hand helps to press thigh away. And then release, let the knee come back in. Right hand cups over, pull it over. And then open it away. Left hand helps to press the thigh forward. Option, stay right here, perfectly fine. Or lift your right foot off the ground and weave your hands through, maybe catch the right thigh or the front of the right shin. Okay, otherwise hips can stay on the ground or foot can rest onto a block or two. Keep the hips nice and grounded, not curling up off the floor. And then pull the legs in towards the chest. Relax some tension from your face and from your shoulders. You have the option as you pull in to draw the legs just a couple inches over to the right side. And as you draw the legs a little over to the right side, you're going to feel your left hip kind of curl up away from the ground and allowing that full weight of gravity to now sink heavy on your left hip and glute. Okay, so left hip is lifted, so you feel a deeper stretch into it. We're going to give ourselves, let's take probably about a few more deep breaths. In fact, let's take 6 deep breaths. Let's just really slow it down and enjoy the sensation, bring in some balance into the body. Let's take one more breath. If the legs are tipped to the right a little bit, just bring them back to center. You're going to hold on with your hands, but if you are still in that 100% max of your variation, I want you to back off just a little bit, okay? Save some space for the muscular activation. So as you hold the legs in place with your hands, lock them in. And then we're going to feel this top ankle and shin start to press forward as though they're trying to push through the leg, but the hands and leg are holding it in place. And you're just feeling that resistance, that tension, keeping that here for 3, for 2, for 1. And then relax the tension, just hug in a little bit closer, okay? Now, release the hands. Try to keep your left foot as close to where it is right now as you possibly can, and just slowly feel your right foot start to lower towards the ground until there's a separation, or continue walking the foot forward to create the separation. Feel that top foot trying to pull in, the knees opening away, holding here for 3, 2, 1. Swivel the knee back to center, set the foot to the ground, and then just feel free to shake out those legs. Whoo-wee. Definitely feeling it here. We spent the majority of the time on our backs. We are going to come upright, but we won't be there for too long. So let's hug the knees into your chest when you're ready. There's no rush. And in fact, let's just spend a few breaths, just kind of still moving how it feels good until you're ready, knees in, and we'll meet here. We are going to come up to a seat. So when you're ready, roll over to a side into fetal position, and then use your top hand to help press yourself all the way up. And we'll make our way into, let's come into a tabletop position. So we'll come onto all fours. And I'm going to turn sideways so that I can just start with right side, and you'll have a good visualization if you need it here. Okay, so from your tabletop position, we're going to start to open the right knee out to the right side, like a little bit of a fire hydrant pose, okay? And then just kind of find some big circles with that right hip, big circular motions. Switch directions. Switch it up. And then slowly just bring it down to meet the left. And then we'll do the other side. Slowly open the left knee out to the left side like a fire hydrant. And then find some big circles, nice and slowed down. There's no rush. Reversing it. And then just slowly lower it down to meet the right. Let's sink back into a quick little child's pose. Sink the hips, relax the spine, relax the head. One more deep breath. Okay. Go ahead and come back up into your tabletop. So we're going to set up like we're going to do pigeon pose, but we're not actually going to settle into it until we get a little more active into that shape. So it changes it when our body weight is now on top of our legs. So we're going to feel that out and the differences from that. From your tabletop, just walk your knees back a little bit so there's space to pull the right knee forward behind the right wrist, and just swivel the foot in front of the hips as far forward as you'd like. Now, before you settle into this position, I want you to push your legs down into the ground. And naturally, when you push both of your legs down, you're going to feel your weight kind of come up. You can come up onto the fingertips. You can even take your hands up onto blocks if that helps, okay? Now, as your legs press down, I want you to equally feel back leg press back and front leg pulls back and back leg pulls forward. So you're drawing them in towards the midline as you press down. So you feel really actively lifted out of this position. And just hold here for 3, 2, 1. And then slowly lower the hands, slide the back leg back, and sink as deeply as you can into your pigeon. If this is just absolutely not happening for your knee, then you can come out of this position. We won't be here for very long. All I'm going to give option for is bending the back knee and catching the foot or ankle with your left hand as you pull it in. You can also use a strap around the foot and hold on to the strap as a little extra extender. You can also take this on your belly. If you go all the way down onto your belly, bend a knee, come up onto your forearms, You can take the quad stretch here too, okay? So just in case pigeon is not your jam, you still have something to jam out too. And then go ahead and release the foot. As you release the foot, you're going to tuck those back toes and just kind of inch that back knee in a little bit, swivel the right foot out, and then step it back. And feel free to shake out from this position however you'd like to. Couple more breaths. Okay, and when you're ready, let's slide left knee towards left wrist. Wiggle the foot in front of the hips as far forward as you'd like. And then without sinking back yet, you're going to come up onto the hands, press the front leg down, press the back leg down. And as you press them down, squeeze them towards each other. Maybe you come all the way off the fingertips. Legs are pressing down and squeezing in towards the midline. Nice, strong hips to support this position. Hands can be on blocks, on the ground, or lifted. For 3, 2, 1. Hands come down. Now wiggle the hips back and down. Sink into it as deeply as you can. Once again, you can come down onto your belly, onto your forearms in Sphinx pose, or stay here. Bending into the back knee. Maybe right hand catches the foot or a strap around the foot and pulling it in. Getting that nice stretch all the way through the quads. Let's take a couple more breaths and just take in all this good, juicy sensation. And then release the foot gently back down to the ground. Tuck the back toes. Help to walk the back knee forward a little bit. Swivel the left foot out and then step it back. Shake it out, child's pose, whatever you'd like for a few breaths. Okay. Make your way onto your bums. You can face towards me. I'm going to turn sideways on our mat, but you don't have to do that unless you want to do that, okay? So I'm going to drop back onto my hands and separate the feet a little bit wider than the hips, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to let the knees drop to the right side. And as I drop to the right, I'm going to kind of fall heavy on my right hip, but my left hip is going to be a little bit more lifted, okay? Perfectly fine. Now what we're going to do is set up for 90-90. Right knee, 90-degree bend. Left knee, 90-degree bend. Try to find the angles to where front shin and back thigh, railroad tracks. Same thing, front thigh, back shin. Okay, once you find the angle, you're going to frame over your right leg. Walk your hands just slightly forward. Okay, what we're going to focus on is the internal rotation on our left hip. So begin to feel the knee press into the ground and just feel the foot start to lift away from the ground, curling it up. Holding here. Breathe. For 5, 4, it's okay if it doesn't even lift off the ground. 3, feel the same sensations of trying to lift it away from the ground. 2, 1, and then set the foot down to the ground. Relax it, drop your left hand behind you, swivel the knees to center, and then all the way over to the left side, same thing. Reposition your legs to find that nice 90-90 position. Find your railroad tracks. Once you do, frame over your left leg, hands can walk slightly forward, and then feel the back knee press into the ground, lifting through the pinky edge side of the foot. Even if it doesn't lift, try to lift it. Activate and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it all the way down. Right hand drops back, swivel the knees to center. Walk the feet in a little bit, and let's go ahead and just shake them. I told you we wouldn't be upright for very long because we're making our way right down onto our backs again. So sweep the legs around, come down onto our backs. That was the active part of our class today. So now we'll kind of wind ourselves back down. So let's go ahead and separate the feet the width of the mat. Open the arms out from the shoulders And just let your knees drop over to the right side. Feels really nice. We're getting internal rotation on that top left hip. We're getting an external rotation on that bottom right hip. And we're getting a nice opening in our lower backs. You can stay right here, keep your legs staggered, or place your right foot right on top. And just feel that bit of heaviness here. You can always adjust this position. So with your left foot, the bottom foot, maybe you walk it more off to the left side. Maybe you walk it in a little closer towards the middle of the mat. I want you to continue walking it in or out until you feel that sweet spot for yourself. And then go ahead and give yourself about 5 or 6 nice relaxing breaths. One more here for good measure. If the foot is on top, go ahead and bring it back down. Swivel the knees back through to center and then let them fall to the left side. And then same thing, keep the legs staggered and just stay, or left foot on top of the right thigh. Whatever feels best. And then if you want to play with the placement, you can walk the right foot out wider to the right side, or you can walk it in a little bit closer towards the inside and find your Goldilocks position. What spot feels just right? Sink in there. Let yourself melt. Another couple breaths here. Just notice how that lower back just melts open. Left foot gently comes back down to the ground if it's on top. Swivel the knees through to center, and let's hug the knees into the chest, arms wrap around the legs, and just sway yourself from side to side. We've done so much good hip opening today. We should feel not only open, but we should feel more mobile and strong and supported within our joints and our range of motion. So as you come to center, let's go ahead and lift the head up towards the knees. Squeeze, 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 nice and tight. And then we're going to release into Shavasana, letting the legs go out long. And then if you would like to take blocks underneath the backs of the knees, that can feel really nice for helping to create a little bit of space in the lower back. If you don't want that, you don't have to take it. It's just an option. Anything else that helps you feel good in your body, you could take that. No problem. All right, let's take a couple relaxing breaths together. Let's start by emptying everything out first. Slow breath in. Gradually fill up the entire torso as you inhale. Breathe space into all directions of your entire body, holding at the top. And then open up your mouth and let it all the way out. Last one we'll take together. Slow it down. Breath in, filling up as much space as you can from top to bottom, bottom to top. Holding, retain the breath, and then just open up your mouth and let it all the way out. Let everything sink into this shape, fully relaxed, at ease, no worries, concerns, to-dos. All you have to do is just let go. Enjoy the simplicity of being in your bodies. Enjoying present moments and just slipping below the turbulent waters into that cool, calm depth. For the next few minutes, just allow yourself to enjoy. If you would like to hang out longer in your final rest, you can hit pause and just stay. Otherwise, deepen your breath slowly. Wiggle the fingers and toes and start to work little gentle movements back into your body, however you'd like, the next few breaths. And when you're ready, the knees will pull to the chest. Sway a couple times left and right. And then just roll over to either side. Take a fetal position. And then use your top hand pressing into the ground. Come all the way up into an upright seated position. Close the eyes, spine lifts, hands joined together at your heart. Being grateful for your bodies, being grateful for wherever you are within this practice. And so much gratitude from me to you. Thank you so much for choosing me to be your guide. Thank you, thank you. You can open up the eyes when you're ready. So you should be feeling open, you should be feeling mobile, nice and strong and supported in your joints. These are my favorite ways to incorporate more of a well-rounded approach to opening my body. It's more than flexibility. It's more than just stretching. We need to feel the strength to support that flexibility. And that's why I love stretch and mobilization. It is a game changer for the practice. So I would love to hear your feedback. Otherwise, I'll see y'all soon.